in the fall of 1973, my wife and I were both halfway between our 24th and 25th birthdays and had been married for 2.5 years. While eating breakfast one morning, she said, out of nowhere, "I want to have a baby." Now, after 5 combined years of dating, engagement, and marriage, I knew maternity was a part of her life plan. While I was not against children, I was ambivalent about fatherhood and nervous about the financial and personal commitment children entailed. In response to her, I presented all of the logical arguments I had prepared for just this moment. Before we have a baby, we need to save more money. We need to buy a house. We need to furnish the house. We need to pay for the house. We need to retire. After listening to my astute rationales for not having a baby at this time, she said, "You don't understand. This discussion is not about whether or not I'm going to have a baby now. I am going to have a baby now. This discussion is about who the father of that baby is." Now, I may be a little slow, but my mother did not raise a complete fool. Once the situation had been clearly explained to me, I realized I was wasting my time trying to stop a locomotive running under a full head of steam. It was a choice of get on board or be run over. I got on board. And before the train stopped, we had 3 daughters in less than 4 years, and my universe had been rearranged. I had no experience with small children and had entered an entirely new world of wonder and discovery. Seeing the world through the eyes of a child changes your perspective of what matters. As a father, I learned 3 important lessons. 1, being the father of daughters was more fun than I thought it would be. My girls were a joy to be with. 2, children teach their parents as much as parents teach their children. They see things so clearly and speak so honestly. And 3rd, a father's love for his daughters cannot be comprehended by a man until he actually experiences it. It is night, and the house is quiet. I'm stealing into the nursery. In the canopied bed, an infant is asleep. Lying on her stomach in a white nightgown, head turned to one side, just like Dr. Spock says, she has a tiny Raggedy Ann doll hugged against her chest. Suddenly, for no apparent reason, there are tears running down my face, and I cannot swallow properly. It's a Christmas morning. The child is almost 14 months old. This is the first Christmas when she is actually aware of what is happening. The tree is brightly lit. There are presents everywhere. The door from the bedroom hall opens, and a tiny child, clutching her teddy bear, toddles into the room. As she comprehends the wonders laid out before her, her face lights up brighter than the tree. A flash goes off as my wife captures the moment on film. But I don't need the photograph. The look on her face and the feeling I have at that moment are part of me forever. I'm standing on a sidewalk along Turtle Creek on a bright spring afternoon, just below the dam on Lakeside Boulevard. My wife and a photographer are there, and so is a small child wearing a full-length dark blue velvet dress with a lace collar. At her age, the child barely comes above my knees, but she is sitting on a wall, posing for a portrait. She is so beautiful that I cannot believe I ever had doubts about being a father. The night is dark. The campfire sheds a flickering light on the faces of the young Indian princesses as they huddle together, shivering not from the cold, but from the anticipation of the chills to come from the ghost story, which they have begged me to tell them. Although they have heard it before, the fact that it purportedly happened to me and in their very own neighborhood gives it an immediacy that makes it irresistible. As the story reaches its climax, and I grab my daughter's arm, just like the sewer monster grabbed me when I was a child. Squeals of horror and excitement explode from all the girls. Once the flow of adrenaline subsides, she hugs me, proud that I have given all her friends such a thrill. The place is Memphis, Tennessee, where my firstborn child, who is leaving the nest, is entering Rhodes College. She has cried off and on all the way from home, knowing, as do I, that everything in her life is about to change. We finished moving her in, made multiple trips to Home Depot, met her roommates, met their parents, and now it's time to leave. I'm parked on a one-lane street on the edge of the campus with a tall hedge forming a wall between the dormitories and the street. My wife is in the car trying to avoid an emotional collapse, and I'm leaning against the closed trunk lid, watching this young woman walk away from me. I know this is the beginning of the end of an era. This year Elizabeth leaves, next year Emily leaves, and 3 years after that Mary Ellen will be gone. It has all flown by so fast, and I wish with profound regret that I had clung more dearly to each moment with them. As she walks away, the illusion of her getting smaller, which we've all experienced, changes, and she not only appears smaller, she is growing younger, becoming once again a tiny child in a blue velvet dress on Turtle Creek. The feminine strides she takes are transformed in my mind's eye into the baby steps of a toddler, and for a moment I have trouble separating reality from illusion. She gets to the end of the hedge, makes a sharp left turn, and is gone. She doesn't look back. Although it hurts, I know this is the way it is supposed to be. We give them life, we give them love, and we set them free. The room is dark and quiet. There's a bunk trundle bed that sleeps 3 small girls. My wife's arrangement for them is one dormitory room where they all sleep together for company, and one playroom for all their toys and dolls. There's a 3rd bedroom for the day when they each want their own privacy, but that day is still to come. Emily, the middle child, is on the top bunk because it makes her feel older. Mary Ellen, the baby, is on the trundle so that if she rolls out of bed in her sleep, she won't have far to fall. Elizabeth is on the lower bunk because she likes the nesting feeling of being enclosed. I'm sitting at the foot of the bed, singing softly, assuming that with my monotone voice this could be called singing. But the girls don't seem to mind. My wife says that although I can't get close to the right key, the children like the resonance of my voice. The song is almost always the same, my version of Malvina Reynolds' Lullaby. Although it has been more than 30 years, I remember it like it was yesterday. Where are you going, my little ones, little ones? Where are you going, my babies, my own? Turn around and you're 2. Turn around and you're 4. Turn around and you're young girls going out of my door. Where are you going, my little ones, pigtails and petticoats? Where have you gone? Turn around and you're young. Turn around and you're grown. Turn around and you're young wives with babes of your own. Turn around, turn around, turn around, young. Turn around and we're old. Turn around and we're left with only memories to hold.